Multitasking might just be the biggest productivity fallacy of our time. Because since I've made the decision to stop doing it, I've not only realized that it's incredibly suboptimal, but also seen my video production consistency explode like never before. And you're in luck, because this super easy replacement to multitasking solves all of its weaknesses. And today, I'm going to show you the two biggest problems with multitasking that are destroying your productivity, and the one-size-fits-all solution that not only skyrockets your content creation capacity, but also reduces the energy demands threefold. I'm James, and after battling with my own productivity for years, I found some tactics that have transformed the efficiency of my video production workflow, and I'm here to help other YouTubers do the same. And the first problem with multitasking not only halts our modern-day productivity, but actually led to the demise of the greatest empire in history. At its peak, the Roman Empire stretched from Britain up in the north to Egypt down in the southeast. All signs would point to a flourishing society, but small micro cracks started to emerge that would eventually play the main part in the empire's collapse. Managing an empire so large requires a great deal of administrative power for collecting taxes, coordinating the military, and setting up the government. Power that the reigning government didn't have. And it turned out that even with the strongest military force in the world, their vast territory led to spreading their forces so thinly that they became so meek and so poorly defended that they fell in 476 to neighbouring invasions. But how does this affect your video production? Well, even in a completely different era, this principle can still be applied to understand why multitasking doesn't work. As humans, our brains simply aren't wired to be overloaded with information all at once. When you ask it to watch a tutorial, script a video, and film one all at the same time, you're asking it to coordinate governments, collect the taxes, and form the military for each of these different sectors. And you end up spreading your mental resources too thin. And this means that you can't allocate enough mental resources to each task. And even though it seems like you're getting everything done super efficiently, you actually don't end up doing anything well. And it kills your productivity, kills the final product's quality, and makes it easier than ever to procrastinate. That's not even the worst part, because the next problem completely rocked my perception on what multitasking actually is. And the truth will probably surprise you too. So I'm an avid podcast listener. I do it while I'm exercising, while I'm walking, or just when I want some stimulation. And when it comes time to work, I'm like,
let's just put the podcast on to make this a little bit more fun.
But when I actually start, something strange happens. I get so entrenched in my work that after a few minutes, I find that I've missed whole sections of the episode. And I have to skip back 2 to 3 minutes at a time. But then when I try to listen in so I don't miss anything valuable, I end up pausing what I was working on. This eventually got so annoying that I just stopped it altogether. Because that was when I realized that multitasking is just complete bull. And after a bit of research, I've learned that when you multitask, because of how the brain is wired, you're really just switching tasks on the fly. This may seem harmless, but it actually comes with a massive handicap. And I'll bet $1 million that it's the reason that you can't make videos as consistently as you want to. When you switch a tab on a slow computer, it takes a while for it to find the tab, expand it, and get it up and running. And it's the exact same with our content creation. A new task that brings a whole different skill set requires around 15 minutes for our brain to get reoriented and refocused. And when we switch tasks, this timer naturally resets. So when we constantly switch tasks every 40 seconds, we can never really get to a point where deep, productive work actually happens. I'll be editing a video while listening to music, or setting up a new laptop while trying to finish off a thumbnail on my old one. On the surface, I believed I was getting more done. Just like my podcast addiction, the quality of what was coming out of that actually took a massive hit. So if we can't multitask, what are we supposed to do instead? It may seem like there isn't anything that can match that perceived efficiency that multitasking brings, but you'd be wrong. Because there's a strategy that a bunch of productivity experts have used, and it's done this to my own content creation efficiency. As you may have guessed, the antidote to multitasking is to single task, because our brains are built in a way that favors this when it comes to longer lasting productivity. And the way I found to do this is a tactic called the daily adventure. It's basically centered around asking yourself, if I could only complete one thing today, what would that thing be? And your answer to this question basically dictates the one thing that you're going to be working towards completing today. But why would you do that if it limits you to only one task? The kind of ethos behind this tactic is taking away the mystery around which thing out of my X long task list should I do. To this problem, multitasking proposes the solution of just do everything all at once. But the game-changing aspect of this daily adventure technique is that it forces you to home in on the one thing that actually matters in the moment, which is a way more sustainable method when looking at increasing your video production efficiency. But the real power of this tactic runs much deeper and takes a better trained eye to spot. If you spend your days hunting for treasure, would you rather scavenge around for hours only to find some loose change, or spend that same time working towards a hidden chest of priceless gold? Of course, you take the second option because you get a better return on investment for your time. And it all becomes worth it when you finally hit the jackpot. And what this daily adventure tactic forces you to do is choose. Out of your list of 10 or more tasks, you can only choose to take up one, which means that you have to consciously think about which one will net you the greatest return on investment for your time. And when you home in on these tasks, they will actually lead you towards the hidden chest. Not only are you working towards bigger rewards, but it's so much more sustainable than choosing to do a lot of tiny tasks that only net you loose bits of change. Because in reality, 20% of the things you do lead to 80% of the results. When making videos, I could make sure every second of it has some kind of edit, or that the visual effects are industry standard. But those aren't actually the things that will grow my channel and help deliver more value to you guys. In reality, focusing on the 20%ers, your ability to explain and to present and to provide value to your audience, that will actually improve your productivity in ways you've never seen before. When using this daily adventure tactic, your video consistency will skyrocket on its own. But to convert this ideology to meaningful work that will actually move the needle in the right direction, you want to watch this video right here, which will arm you with the expert's favorite strategies for avoiding procrastination.